Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm back today to finally do a tag that's been going around for a while. Lots and lots of people have tried it, too many people for me to name here really. I've tried to watch as many of them as I can, and it's the hashtag only one deck, started by Jay at Iridescent Tarot, and this tag has just been so difficult. Like, even to choose 10 decks would be really hard. But to choose, well, there's 4, isn't there? We're allowed 4 decks. A tarot and a backup and an oracle deck and a backup. And even that's just been hideous. I mean, as I'm sitting here now looking around at all my decks, I love the Penumbra Tarot, I love the Mystical Cats Tarot, the Pagan Cats Tarot, the Serpent and Peacock, the Pensive Path, my Osho Zen, my Anna Kay, the Light Seers, just normal, everyday Rider-Waite-Smith decks I love, the Everyday Witch, the Morgan Greer. I could go on. I've got so many decks that I just absolutely love, and I mean, the Shimmering Veil is a new one to my collection, and I love it. The Forager's Daughter, I absolutely love. There are just so many. The New Seasons of the Witch Winter Tarot, I already love that. That's just tarot cards without even oracle decks. This tag is so difficult. I would imagine for some of the people who like Nova, Monday Tarot, I watched hers yesterday, her VR. I mean, she's got a massive collection of decks, so it's just so difficult to choose, really. But anyway, if you know me well, you'll probably know what I have chosen as my main deck for my tarot, but maybe not so much for my oracles. So without further ado, I will show you. So the deck I've chosen as my favourite ever, really, or the deck that I just wouldn't want to be without for tarot, is Tarot of the Abyss. I've talked about this deck on my channel so many times. It's not a deck that I would have ever thought that I would choose. I edged mine in black just because of the colour palette of it. You know, let's put that up just very slightly. You know, I normally love really colourful decks. You know, the more colourful, the better. I like rich jewel colours, deep sort of rich colours. But there is just something about this artwork that just really speaks to me. There are some genius cards in this deck. I mean, I know a lot of people have trouble with this Lovers card. They don't like it. You know, some people think the tree might be dead, but I just think this tree has, these two trees have grown together, entangled themselves together. Their roots go deep. You know, this may be winter. These trees may be in a period of sort of stagnation, which are real things in relationships, but the trees have endured. It just speaks to me. I love that there are 2 different cards for the 3 of Swords and the 10 of Swords. I get both of those. I love this Justice card. If I was to do my favourite majors, this would be my favourite Justice card ever. I mean, look at that face. There's no escaping the justice in that face, is there? I love the different interpretations of the 3 of Swords, like this one. You know, although there is pain here, there's also release, isn't there? There's a release from that suffering. There's a letting go. which is so important to remember with the Three of Swords. I just absolutely love this deck. I really do. I don't think there's a card in it, excuse me, that I don't enjoy. You know, when you put the cups down together and you look at the page, the knight, the queen and the king, this journey of sort of maturation, if you like, through the court cards, I really like that. You can see the progress. And also in the other court cards as well, but particularly for me in the cups. This is one of my favourite cards, even though it's a very difficult card. I just think that's really clever as well, because we just don't know what's going on. We don't know whether this person is the attacker of this person. Are they going to help them? They've got another knife in their hand. Are they going to stick the final knife in? You know, what's going on? Yeah, this deck just really speaks to me. You know, like I said, the journey through the court cards, you know, finally the King of Cups has stood upon the ship with, you know, the crazy water and emotions all around him, but he's stood firm. He's learned how to master his own emotions. Whereas the page here is having to look at a map. He's not ready. The Ten of Swords here again. This sort of implied wisdom here. I really like that. Yeah. Six, the Queen. That's beautiful. The Two of Wands. Where's he off to next? The King of Wands with his fire. This is beautiful, isn't it? The Ten of Cups. That's so nice. You can see this is a well-used deck because all the cards are all over the place. Look at them. They're all upside down again. The Seven of Cups. That's really how I feel about the Seven of Cups, is you're just all up in your head. Well, it's a card of emotions, isn't it? But it's a clouded emotions. There's so much confusion and woolliness around the Seven of Cups, isn't there? The Three of Pentacles all pulling together. Yeah, this is lovely. The Ten of Pentacles. Really like that. You can feel the emotion in these two fives here. I mean, that's an awful image, really, when you look at it. There's the implied sort of cruelty there. A sort of very casual cruelty there, which is not nice. To say probably not one of my favourite Hermit cards, but it's fine. Hermit card is an important card, isn't it? I think for many of us. I really like the Death card, the hanged one, of looking at things from a different perspective. That's brilliant. Strength, that's lovely. The Devil, that's a clever card. The Eight of Cups, I really like that. You can really feel the letting go in that. The Wise One. Yeah, the Four of Swords, another good card. I like that. The Four of Cups. Yeah, so there we go. I think a lot of people like this deck, but I really like this deck. If anybody asked me to read for them, this is, unless they had a preference, this is the deck I would pick up immediately. I used to think I would just keep it for myself and read for myself, but I've done some amazing readings for other people with it. So there is that. Now, the runner-up was really, really difficult because, again, like I just reeled off this list of decks, and I could reel off another 20 quite easily. I think if I was going to choose something else, it would have to be very, very Rider-Waite-Smith. And I could have chosen, you know, my Radiant Wise, my very, very old, I mean, I've got a universal Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I got when I was 18. So that's almost 40 years old. I've also got the Jules and Frost tarot deck that Nova at Nova Monday Tarot created, which is beautiful. But I think my absolute favourite out of all of my very Rider-Waite-Smithy type decks is the Robin Wood Tarot. And probably some of you might laugh at this because this is a very old-fashioned type of deck. This was created by Robin Wood. In my head, I often think it's Robin Hood, and it's a Robin Hood deck, but it's not. But it's just, oh, I don't know. Let me show you it. I bought this second hand on eBay ages ago, just out of curiosity, really. But I love the colour palette of it. I like the people in it. It reads like a charm. It reads beautifully. This is a nice hermit card, isn't it? There's a little bit of nudity in this deck, which I'll try not to show. It doesn't bother me, but just look at the colours. I mean, it is very, very Rider-Waite-Smith, and it's a very easy reader. I don't know, it just gives me all the good vibes. It's warm and comforting, and it makes me smile. Look at that, look, for the Ten of Pentacles. That's just lovely. I just think it's beautiful. It really just reads so well. I mean, it doesn't sugarcoat some of the cards. I mean, we can see all the blood here of the Ten of Swords. But I think on the whole, this is a very positive deck, a very uplifting deck. A very different energy to the Tarot of the Abyss. There we go. There's all the nudity people don't like. The Hanged Man. The Death. I mean, that's nice. Temperance. I like this for the Devil. I think that's really quite clever. You know, they can see the open doorway there. They can see the way out, but they're just stuck, aren't they? I think I really like the colour palette in this. I like the blues and the yellows. There's more nudity. Yeah, there's just something really uplifting and warm about this deck. Oh, look at that, look. I'm showing you all the cards just very quickly. So what do you think of my two tarot decks? I really like this one as the Two of Swords. It's one of the really important cards in the deck for me. It's been something that I've had issues with a lot in my life, Two of Swords energy, and I really like this one. Yeah, and that's beautiful, isn't it? Look, the Ace of Pentacles. I would love to have a garden like that. Look at him. He's even in like he's in the top of his little castle there, isn't he? Not happy. That's nice. So yeah, that's beautiful. The Nine of Pentacles is an important card to me as well. So there we go, the Robin Wood Tarot. I think the two of them together, if I was able to take both of them, I think they would fulfill my various moods and wants and needs, I think. It was really hard though. I mean, I very nearly chose the Pensive Path Tarot as my runner-up deck, but Robin Wood just pipped at the post. Now, my Oracle decks, they're both really old decks. This one I've had for a long time. I think I bought this new. This was 2004, so this is 21 years old. And I know some people have issues with Doreen Virtue. She's not, you know, some of her decks are not that popular anymore, but this was the first ever Oracle deck that I bought, and I still use it for deity work. I do a fair bit of goddess work. I have a favourite goddess that I devote my altar to. But I just love this deck. I love everything about it. You think this 21 years old, and look, the gilding's still lovely. The cards are just, they just really speak to me. You know, Carly, the old must be released, that the new must enter. I'm quite familiar with all of these goddesses. They're all, I've read a fair bit about all of them. This is a lovely one, Sarasvati, the arts. I've actually got a metal sort of plate, an arty type plate for the wall of Sarasvati, which is really nice. Isis. This deck has just really brought me a lot of comfort over time. It's been with me through thick and thin, through a lot of difficult times. There is often one of these cards on my altar. It's just like an old, familiar, comforting, favourite deck. There's not a card in here I don't like. And the goddess that I feel that I connect to quite often actually is Nematona, the sacred space, about creating an altar or visiting a power place. So she's a Celtic goddess. And I often bless my altar and devote my altar to Nematona. It's just lovely, isn't it? Look at Aphrodite. I mean, that's just stunning. White Tara, sensitivity. That's lovely. It's such a nice deck. It just gives me such good vibes. That's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, there are loads of goddess tarot decks and oracle decks out there, but honestly, this has just always been my absolute favourite. Look at that, look, that's lovely. Lakshmi, bright future. Yeah, I just love it. I would be devastated if anything happened to this deck, to be honest, because even if I replaced it with another one, if I found another one secondhand or something on eBay, I would be still devastated to lose this one. I'm just very attached to it. Now, the runner-up, again, was very difficult. There's so many decks I could have chosen. I love the Urban Crow Oracle. I've got lots of sort of botanically and herbal and plant type oracles that I love. The Forest of Enchantment Oracle I love. I've got some archetype decks that I love. Oh, just so many healing cards. Yeah, God. So many. I'm just looking at them all in my shelves. There's Phases and Forests. That's a lovely deck, isn't it? Soul Mirror, Earth Magic. I mean, they're all fantastic, but eventually I came up with this one, the Power of Surrender cards, because I was just thinking, I've got my goddess for my deity work and for my altar, and to talk to, you know. And then this is a deck that talks to me when I need it. And this is The Power of Surrender by Judith Orloff. And again, I've had this deck for a long, long time. There's no guidebook as such with this deck because everything is written on the card. And it is just all things to surrender to or from. And it's a really, really helpful deck. You know, this is a great deck for shadow work. It's a great deck when you're struggling with anything in life, really, and just need a little bit of guidance, pointing in the right direction, getting yourself back on track. It talks to you in a gentle but firm way about what you need. And again, it's not all, you know, sort of toxic positivity. There's a lot of stuff in here that is real shadow work, like surrender your desire to control people. You know, that's a difficult energy, isn't it? Surrender stubbornness, negative thinking. Surrender to passion. Surrender the habit of people pleasing, addictions, worry. Receiving support and love, denial, frustration, your fear of change, creativity, silence, wonder and awe, surrender to miracles, defensiveness, your full power, comparisons with other people, unhealthy relationships, divine timing, surrender fear, surrender to what is, stress, surrender your need to always be right, obsessive thinking. So you can see this has got a surrender to everything in your life that is not helpful for you, everything that needs to be let go of or managed in some way at some point in your life. It's a brilliant deck. And I think if I had my goddess deck and this one, that's probably all I would need, really, to keep me on the right track in life, isn't it? But, you know, we like to accumulate things, don't we? And all these lovely decks are so tempting. So there we go. They were my decks, and I have actually been good for once and not included any others, even though I have named lots of other decks. Often when I do these VRs, I'm naughty and I add extra decks in, but not this time. So, what do you think? Would any of these have been your favourites? If you've got these decks, let me know how they work for you. And like I said, this was a really tough challenge. If you haven't had a go at this tag already, I would highly encourage you to. So thanks to Jay at Iridescent Tarot. I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you all again soon.